Jelly Bear here, and welcome to my penultimate video for Neopagan November. I'm going to be tackling another 3 prompts in this video, and I'm just going to jump straight in. So the first prompt is black, and the first thing that comes to mind is literally just, I love to wear black. It's my favourite colour to wear, although yeah, no, the artist in me goes, black isn't a colour, it's a shade. But you know what I mean, black is my favourite colour, and green and purple, but I don't wear as much green and purple, mostly black. I just realised I didn't look at the prompts before I sat down. I sat down and then wrote them down. I was like, and I've incidentally put black lipstick on today, which I haven't done for a couple of weeks. But yeah, I love to wear it, and I think the best thing to sum it up is a quote by Yohji Yamamoto, who is one of my favourite fashion designers. So I'm going to read that out to you because I've got that saved here, which is, black is modest and arrogant at the same time. Black is lazy and easy, but mysterious. But above all, black says this: I don't bother you, don't bother me. And I think that sums it up perfectly. I lean quite goth, so obviously not everyone who wears black is a goth, but I'm very much, I just gotta keep it creepy. Even when I'm just wearing my joggers and a little cardi, but I've got my little skelly tanky top and my little skeleton skull earrings and what have you. It feels like partially like armor, partially quite magical, and partially it's just part of the subculture that I got into when I was younger, around at the same time as really getting into witchcraft and stuff. So of course I do look a bit like a walking cliche at times, and you don't have to dress this way to be a witch, obviously, but of course a lot of people that are darkly inclined or into creepy stuff, or who are gothic, are naturally drawn to things like witchcraft because it is mysterious and all those things. So yeah, that's the first thing that I thought of when I read the word black. The second prompt says a secret. So am I supposed to tell a secret, but then if I tell it, it's not a secret anymore? Or I guess I could talk about secrecy within magic, but I've touched on that in another tag, so I don't want to do that. A secret. It's not a secret, I guess, but this follows on quite nicely from black onto white, and the phrase like white magic or white witch. Who is that phrase for? Does that make people feel better to call themselves a white witch? I feel like that phrase, if you identify as that, fine, but for me it feels very like it's trying to seem unoffensive or non-threatening to people who might be a bit wary of witchcraft. Oh, but I'm a white witch, it's only white magic. Like, who is that serving? And also for me, I'm like, but really? Because like witchcraft to me is transgressive and fringe and gnarly, and it's it's a crooked path. I don't know, it's just the way I see it. What's the saying? A witch who cannot hex cannot heal. And yeah, I don't know, I guess my secret is I find the term white witch kind of annoying, and also like an oxymoron. I don't know, what are other people's thoughts? Is that a bit of a hot take? I don't know. But I'm just like, I guess that's just popped into my head because I've just been doing the first prompt, and it sort of followed on from black to white, and there's this whole connotation around the colours black and white and magic, and a discussion to be had around sort of the racial implications with the kinds of magic which are considered white magic and the kinds of magic that are considered black magic, and there's definitely some like not cool stuff going on there, you know what I mean? What's that? I remember reading in witchcraft books, even in the 90s, saying witchcraft is neutral. It's magic, not witchcraft. Magic is neutral. So how you use that source, that thing is up to you. But yeah, I would rather say, you know, baneful than black magic, and like positive, maybe positive or healing, or I don't know. If someone's like, oh, I'm a white witch, I only do it if I do magic that's, I don't know, I'm doing this like voice because I'm thinking of someone that's like, they're all like, puppies and rainbows. I mean, I love puppies, don't get me wrong, and rainbows and unicorns, and I love rainbows and unicorns, but you know what I mean. Maybe I'm being a dick, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a cynical bitch, but you know what I mean. I feel like it's a phrase that maybe had its use at a time, but it also has its own issues, and I also think maybe we don't need it anymore. I don't know. And then I guess that this has worked out quite nicely actually, is shh, it's taboo is the next prompt. And actually, again, something has jumped to mind. It's probably just as well I didn't like properly think about these or look at these before I started, because it's turned into this really interesting like stream of consciousness that's flowed on. But like shush is taboo, I think about like witchcraft practices that are seen as like, oh, you shouldn't really do it. So again, baneful magic is one example. But I was listening to the Middle-Aged Witch podcast earlier this week actually, and in this episode that I was listening to, she was talking about meddling, when people don't want to meddle in people's lives. And she was saying how, and I think it was a video, I think it was an episode, sorry, about baneful magic or hexing and cursing. I can't remember for the life of me. Well worth checking out that podcast, it's good fun, and they're quite short episodes. She says that we meddle all the time in a non-magical way. Or maybe it was because someone had written in, she does like listener questions at the beginning and gives them advice and spells to try and things like that. And so, you know, she said, what's the difference? Say you've got a neighbour that's a really difficult, noisy, disruptive neighbour. What's the difference between reporting them to, you know, the authorities for, I don't know, whatever it is that they're doing that's being, you know, I've had problems with noisy neighbours in the past, and it got really bad, and the council had to be involved. It was a really stressful situation. These people were out of control. Like, it was a terrible neighbour situation. It was so bad, so bad. What's the difference between me keeping a log and having to log that with the authorities, with the council, and having to get together with the neighbours in the area to try and like rally, to doing magical work to get these people to move on to somewhere that is better for them and for us? Do you know what I mean? Because if you're going to meddle, it doesn't have to be in a negative way, and we meddle all the time in life is the point. But yeah, so it's taboo, like meddling, like doing magic to sort of interfere with other people's stuff in order to help yourself, as it were. But we do that in a mundane way is the point. And that also, sometimes you do just need to fucking bind a bitch. But it's taboo still. I don't know. I think it's becoming less and less so as more and more people come to folk witchcraft and trad witchcraft and more crooked path and left hand path. It's becoming less so. But yeah, and the yeah, it shouldn't be. And then things like things that are still, and then talking about that like white witchcraft, white magic, and all love and light stuff that makes me want to like vomit on myself. Sorry, I said what I said. Is that whole idea of like using things like menstrual blood, which I do, or like you know witchcraft being gnarly, people like pissing in jars and bottles, and you know, people using sex magic and bodily fluid and semen or vaginal fluid or whatever, like people just being like and it's like, come on, you're a witch. It's transgressive, it's gnarly, it's fringe, it's you know what I mean? I don't know. So it's taboo, but I don't think it should be, because that's the roots of a lot of practices. What are you doing, boo-boo? Hello. Oh, she's looking up at me with those lovely, sweet puppy dog eyes, as if to say, is it time to go O-U-T yet? Let's go to the P-A-R-K. I have to spell it because she'll get too excited. I've got one more video to film and then we'll go, boo-boo, okay? Okay? Oh my God. back of my heart. Anyway, this turned into an absolute ramble. Colour me stunned. But it's still under 12 minutes. Oh my god, so I'm going to go because that's a pretty good record for me. So I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!